So we're joined by Amy Shin, who's the first of our commended poets for her poem Hanbok. And it's such a pleasure to be with her. Congratulations, Amy.
Thank you.
It's a really marvellous poem. The first thing I want to know, I guess, is who have you been reading to write this? What are the influences that are sort of flowing into this? It feels so assured, so knowing what it's doing already.
The influences from literature, or?
Yes, absolutely.
Me personally, I actually don't read that much creatively in the past couple of months.
Sure.
It's quite embarrassing to say this, but I don't really read official poetry books or anything like that. But I do like going for a good browse on the poetry section
Yeah, I think that's the line.
I think it's like the Young Poet Society website. And that's where I get a lot of the initial ideas of where to start my poems, stuff like that.
The images in Hanbok are so precise that the sliver of hair curled around a sliver of red pine, I think, is absolutely wonderful. You just see the thing. I wonder if you would say something about visual imagination and how it feeds into your work.
Yes, actually, visual imagination is a really big thing for me, because when I wrote this poem in particular, I was trying to revisit the idea of being so in place, in touch with yourself and your culture as a whole, and what this kind of meant to me. So I chose the one scene that I thought was the most culturally significant, and that was me wearing the hanbok, which is a traditional Korean dress. And I would look in the mirror and mentally I would revisit that scene when I was writing this poem and see exactly what is it about this scene that really says, here you are like the culture you are, and like your identity is revealed through like the scene.
Sure. Yeah. And how much do you think that identity is something that you craft yourself as opposed to something that you put on or take on? How much do you think it's the poet's work to create that? I think about these lines. 1,000 miles in Western Territory, me and my mind are two halves of one soulful reiteration of culture, history, origins. How much do you think it is on the poet to make their own backstory or their own identity? And how much do you think is given?
So I think backstory, yeah, I do think that a poet forges their own identity. Obviously backstory is a really big part of it, but I think it's also what you do with that and how you take it in these different directions to create this identity of yourself. I suppose my background would be me living in Korea, and what I've done with this to develop it as my identity. So I've taken it in my poem and I've shown it as a part of a journey almost.
I see that. Would you read the poem?
Yeah. So the title is Hanbok. I dream, hand-stitched flowers leaning on the seams of blushing silk, baby teeth sinking into soft honeybean paste, hair curled around a sliver of red pine, around a slender nape of neck, a nesting young dragon. 1,000 miles in Western Territory, me and my mind are two halves of one soulful reiteration of culture, history, origins. I touch my mirrored face and ask, where are you from? In the homelands, grandmother washes rice in a stone bowl, foggy water kissing her bony wrists, dipping into the cracks of the floor, drowning smaller sorrows, a miniature hand river. Grandmother picks through fish bones and the scent flickers like a snake in the grass. Home has never felt so close, the skirt's weight pressing me to the floor. Without this, I think I would slip through the cracks, leaving only liquid loss, a caricature of her foggy Han River.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.